Good evening, everyone, and how are you all today?
Good evening. Huh, good. Survived.
And how was your week?
The week was challenging in that I did something I hadn't done in a long, long while. And it just showed you that, you know, you will get what you ask for. And when that time is over, it's over because I was able to go from Thursday morning into Friday afternoon about 3:30 without sleep. And I had a lot of things to do to get ready for Friday. And I was falling behind, and I just called for reinforcements. And reinforcements were there, and I was able to go to bed right after 2:30. And that workshop ended. That was the end of reinforcements. There was enough to get back to the car, and then I sat in the car, and next thing I know, Philman was banging on the window to be let into the car because I was out like a light. And I was thankful that I had someone else to drive the vehicle because it could not move from where it was with me in that state. Friday night, Saturday, even up to yesterday, I didn't go to service because I say, okay, let me catch myself and do the proposal to send to Montserrat. And it was only able to be done, finished this morning. I was putting together the pieces when something came. I put it in a form, so I was just able to type straight. So the week showed you that yes, you could push your body, but your body will push back eventually, and you have to be prepared to listen and sit down because I was still trying to push and it was not working. So I had to apply the lessons, which was focus on the now. Don't be studying about tomorrow and some other hour that is not there. Plus, I was also practicing pluck it out. I can't say I was 100% successful, but I was mindful enough to practice it. And they say practice makes better, so that was weak.
Okay. Anyone else? Patricia, are you there? How was your week?
Yes, I am here.
And how was your week this week?
It was one of the best because I run into a kind of health problem with the foot.
Okay.
So I really had to slow down. I really walk too fast to do
Yeah.
anything. So I had to just kind of chill out and slow down and look at some other things, reflect on life and other quiet things instead of fussing with the whole Christmas story.
Yes. Understood totally because I think that was even what happened to me today because I think it was 2 weeks ago. T and Tech they were supposed to take electricity for the day, but the company that my sister works for, they had a boat to unload. So because of that, they couldn't take the electricity because the company is right across the road. And last night in the wee hours of the morning, the thought came, current going tomorrow. And I was like, nah, nah. And you know when you just automatically wake up because the place started to get hot and it went for the entire day. So even a lot of the things that I thought I had planned, you have no electricity and then it have no water. So you might as well just go back and sleep. Thank God the day was cool. Cause and I guess that was just the agenda, just as you rightfully said, get some rest. Because that is what my day was. I had some work to do. So by the time you open your eyes and you realize the place had your devices on low, so you have to try to get the work done quickly before they die. So I had to use my phone data to connect to my laptop to connect to the internet to send some stuff out and then try to save the battery in case anything else comes up. But yeah, I think rest was really on the agenda for this weekend because sometimes you really have to slow down even if you have other plans and then life would present something else and you recognize, okay, you really, really need to slow down a bit and get some rest. Because that was the exact same thing that happened to me today. And in times gone by, I would say, oh gosh, and you're worrying about this and how come you can't get to do that? And then when you realize, okay, Adana, electricity gone and it gone, it's not coming back before 3 o'clock. Like, move on, move on, move on. Don't even stay there. Just move on. And that is what today was for me. And Lisa, are you there? She probably driving or something on her way home. Okay. Philman, are you there? All right. So I guess it might be the same thing for him. He is not close to his phone. And guys, we understand because it is December and we understand how hectic December gets. And everybody is rushing to get things done, to get things sorted. And I think we are at week 50. Yes, yes, yes. Imagine that. It seems like just yesterday we were talking about probably we got week 14, week 12, week 10. Now look at it, we are at week 50. And even as the year 2025 is coming to a close, how do you feel about this year and what you have accomplished in this year? Even though it might not be physical attributes, but even as it relates to wisdom and understanding, and even as it relates to doing things differently and practicing something different. How do you feel about 2025 in that aspect?
2025 for me was eye opening. And many times I had to talk to myself because sometimes I believed that I was a little further ahead where I would like to be. And then to realize, oh, not as far as. So the natural tendency for me would be to worry about that. And more and more, I had to remember that it's up and down, up and down, up and down. Wrong some corners and everything is never a straight line. And to reduce as much as possible my mm, desire for perfection, my notion of perfection, call it that, and which is old habits. And so to be able to sit back, also to be able to recognize that based on what we're learning, you can't control people and you cannot go off the handle over situations because you could manage the situations. And so looking back and knowing if you're walking maybe slowly and in your mind you feel you should be walking a little faster because for me I went and tied up certain things with certain things. So It's almost like having benchmarks where you should just leave the benchmarks alone. Do not have, it's okay to have benchmarks, but don't hang on them so firmly that you introduce anxiety and the same thing you want to avoid, you're actually creating. So 2025 will close. And when you look, you say, well, this year we had a lot of losses in my family,
Mm,
especially on my mother's side. Six between December and now. And we're not discussing elderly people. We're talking about green limes just falling off the tree. And so when you look, you say, well, at least I'm still here. There's opportunity to improve on whatever I want to improve, put down whatever I need to put down, and just keep walking. So I don't feel as anxious as the same time last year. When
mm-hmm,
you mentioned, oh, we only have 4 more weeks to go, I was like, oh God, no, 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 no. Because you look down at the things you wanted to accomplish and you're not seeing that result.
mm-hmm,
But for this year, I'm telling myself that you're not seeing that result physically, but things working in your favor, things getting into place, things have to get into place. So I'm a lot calmer this time, and I know which techniques to apply when the anxiety starts to come on. So it's the years and then particular. I still have my goals in mind. And I'm enjoying them in my head at least. But I'm not as anxious as last year. Last
okay.
year was
Would anyone else? Patricia, are you there? And not for the others, they may not be close to their phones.
Yes, I'm here.
How was your 2025?
Well, the the usual, as life goes, you have your ups and your downs, your mountains and your valleys. But I think I was able to be a little more patient and calm with myself to deal with challenges. I mightn't be able to deal with them wholly, but I was able to come up with solutions and some things worked. I realized you really had to be calm and patient and with yourself because my take on at this point in time in my life after retirement and all that is just to achieve a calmness and peace. And one of the big lessons to me was to leave out people. When I say leave out people, let people be. Let them do what they have to do. I realize I'm learning that everybody comes with what they have to do written and mapped out on the soul, and they had to just align themselves, body, soul, and spirit. I mean, body, mind, and spirit. And if you do that, if you get through with that, your days will be nice and calmer and smoother, and you will just be moving like a little river going through life. So when I realized that, one of my big things was people. How people could aggravate you. You have a plan going forward and they want to tell you do that and do this. Forget it. Take whatever advice you need, go with that, and do what you have to do. That is the
Mm,
thing I figured out.
yeah, you really have to, again, because you are creating your world. You are creating your world, and your life belongs to you. And with that, you really have to focus on yourself. Because again, when you look back at life, you would recognize how many years, how much time you spent, sometimes consumed by other people and what's going on with other people. So, because of that, you really have to focus on you, look within, and see what steps are the next steps for you moving forward, and follow those steps. Because again, those steps, even though you might be fearful, those steps leading you to exactly where you have been asking to go. But if you focus on the fear, you wouldn't get there. But you really have to just make the first step, make the first step. And that and all leads into tonight's topic, which is building habits you can maintain. Because sometimes the first step can seem scary. But after you make the first step, you just recognize, why did I take so long to make this first step in the first place? And even when you see you have been asking for things, and the opportunities present themselves, what are you doing? Are you going to adjust and build new habits in order to experience and maintain what you have been asking for? Or are you just going to continue as you are? Because even last year in 2024, I remember saying, I really want to start back exercising. And another thing I said was, I really want to start to go on hikes. And this time I'm not waiting on anybody. If I go by myself, I go by myself. And then when the opportunity presented itself, with work, of course, through work, through befitment, I say, Adana, well, the opportunity right in front of you, even if you ain't feeling to exercise, you have to exercise, because again, this is what you have been asking for. So sometimes, yes, I probably do it 90% of the time. I have the 10% when sometimes I really cannot make it, or you really need to just go home and sleep. But again, when the opportunity presents itself, when you've been asking for it for so long, what do you do? Do you just let it pass you by and say, well, the next time? Or do you take the opportunity and really make the best use of the opportunity? And even when it comes to going on hikes and doing a lot of outdoor activities, now we have so much outdoor activities. Sometimes on a Saturday, I want to just stay home, and you really want to just stay home and sleep. And each outdoor activity has its challenges, but at the end of the activity, it is always a rewarding experience, because from the first befitment hike, which was the Cyril Bay, it was a difficult hike, but looking back at it, no, I will not go back. But still, looking back at it, it was a really positive experience, because everybody came together to get each other out when it was time to climb back up the hill, the side of the mountain, actually. Everybody came together. I know Philman was at the end of the line, ensuring that nobody was back there. Quaid was running up and down, carrying people's bags that was too heavy, so he run out, drop it, and then come running back in to give whoever needed salt prunes, whoever needed water, Gatorade. And even within that, you saw the camaraderie and you saw the togetherness. And because of it, it was a really positive experience. And so far, all of the outdoor activities was like that. And then you're just recognizing, and sometimes we don't even pay attention to how the things appear after we have been asking for it for so long. Sometimes you're so consumed with other things that you don't even recognize, I am currently experiencing what I have been asking for. And in knowing this, and in even utilizing the tools and utilizing the wisdom you have learned, what would you like to now create for yourself moving forward? Without any confusion, without any fear, without any uncertainty. Think about it. What would you like to create moving forward? And do you think that whatever that is it too big for you to be able to create? Is it too difficult? Or do you look at it and then determine, okay, I might need to adjust this, or I might need to adjust that, in order to build the habit to maintain whatever it is you are currently experiencing. Because even for exercise, there was a lot of adjustments that had to be made. And even for hiking, also adjustments had to be made, because that's why I keep asking the question. You're asking for the opportunity, but when the opportunity comes, do you build habits to maintain the experience and the enjoyment of the experience, or do you say, no, 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 I next time, next time? Because what if the opportunity doesn't come back after you have been asking for it for so long? So how do you manage that in that aspect? Anyone?
I think I need a little work in that area. I really think I need a little work in that area. Because in some things, I develop small routines and try as best as possible to keep to those. And when I don't keep to those, I notice that I haven't kept it. It's not as though, oh, you didn't do it and it does not leave an impact on you that you haven't done this today. And you're giving a commitment to yourself that this will be done every day. So, but other things, I think I still need some work in that area. But I am not discouraged.
Mhm.
I am working on the basis of pluck it out and try and stay in the moment. Reduce, the idea being to reduce and eventually to eliminate it, living in the future and living in the past. So, and to trying to anticipate what would what could happen or what should happen, or it's giving me early wrinkles and I
So
have to
if
avoid them.
you're going into a new experience, you try to anticipate what could happen, or you're just going for the enjoyment of it.
Well, that is the part where developing new habits.
Mm-hmm.
See? So my old way would be to try to figure out every single thing and come to a conclusion and then confuse myself in the middle of all the things. The new way is to, first of all, you have a list in your head of how things should be and how things should go. I have significantly pruned that list. So we just have now things that you really want. But the how, I am practicing that the how does not belong to me.
Mm-hmm.
So mine is a little scarier because when you're accustomed operating in the old way where you try to figure out every single thing and you expect this to happen, you expect that to happen, and you create the picture and you have all the little colors colored in. Then to move from that stage of the how does not belong to you,
Mm-hmm.
and to realize that as much as you try to do the how part, you're not going to get every single thing right because you don't have the how. It's kind of humbling to have to take a back seat sometimes. And I find that I'm able to explain it to other people better than I'm able to practice it myself. And sometimes that give me a little kind of anxiety because I say, well, what, you're playing hypocrite or something? How it does you know it enough to be able to share it with other people, but you're not applying it fully. And then we go back to you don't have to be so hard on yourself. At least you share it with somebody and somebody will benefit, and then you practice, do come along at your own pace. So that is where it is.
Okay, understood. Would anyone else like to share when you are approaching something that is new, how do you approach it? Or do you approach it from trying to think about what the outcome would be, or do you approach it from just wanting to enjoy the experience?
Good night.
Hello.
Um, I was kind of in and out. So I heard part of what Catherine was saying, and I think based on what I heard, I think for me it's the same where you're trying to change the old habits of you're trying to accomplish what you want to accomplish based on how you in your mind think it should work out. And for me, it's learning how to once again be and not do. Because even this past weekend, or for the last couple of weeks, I found myself feeling very anxious, very uptight, feeling like you're stagnated. I know all of these things, and why am I not applying it, and how to apply it? And then I'm like, in my quiet moment, I was like, Lisa, you're doing and you're not being. And it's a big difference when you just allow things to flow. You don't feel, I mean, now that I am kind of more in tune with myself, you could tell the difference when you're being, like when your body's tense, your mind is always going and you're just feeling so anxious and you're feeling so overwhelmed and what and how and when and why. And then when you take a step back and you put things into perspective and you come to that, at least for me, that awareness, it hits you like you're doing. So if you're doing, that means you're really not in alignment. You're really not allowing your soul to take the lead. You're still in the process of allowing your mind to lead. So I know, like, for me, it's really, like I had a conversation and really learning how to slow down. Because I felt like one of the things I was doing is like, I'm not taking the time to be present. I'm not taking the time to smell the roses. It's just like from one thing to the next, one day just looping into the other. And then I was like, slow down, slow down, slow down. You realize, you're putting so much pressure on yourself. And it's just trying to allow yourself to just slow itself down,
Mm-hmm.
and if that means you distract yourself, you go for a walk, you go to the beach, you go to, anything that you could do to just like do something that you enjoy doing. It shouldn't always just be, well, okay, work, taking care of the family, taking care of this. How about taking care of you?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you invest in you, that's when, you allow yourself to slow down. If you know you like gardening, go sit and then just do your gardening. That's relaxing you versus you're thinking I have to do the groceries, I have to do the laundry, I have to do this. Slow down, because I know, like, for me it's just about, you figure I have to work, I have to make the money, I have to do this, and it's always focused about the money and what bills you have, what bills you have to pay. And till there tomorrow you close your eyes, the bills are still there.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to learn that it's okay to have the bills. It's okay to run up the credit card. It's okay, You don't go and just, okay, well, I have the credit card and I go max it out on any and anything, but it's okay. And then for me, it's like I have to take care of this one, I have to take care of this, but I have to do this. And it's like, it's okay. It's okay. So that was a big thing for me that I learned, like, over this weekend. It is okay.
It really is, because you see, it being okay really comes from a place of acceptance, eh? Because once you accept, because even look at my situation today, yes, you had plans. And when you're presented with the challenge, what do you do? Do you revert back to, oh my gosh, and why this is happening, and I have this to do, I have that to do? Or do you accept, okay, what can be done at this moment? What had to be done was done, and then what had to be done was done, and then I was able to complete this stuff before my devices died, and then after that you can't really do anything else. And you see, once you start from there, then you would recognize that okay, the other steps would reveal themselves. But if you get up or every day and you approach every day with thoughts of yesterday or thoughts of how it is supposed to be, remember, you're not giving yourself any space to receive what your next step is, because you have already predetermined what your next step should be, or you have already predetermined how this experience should go. So once you hold it on to that predetermination, remember, it's like you're holding on to expectation. So you're always comparing the actual experience to what being held by you, instead of just clearing everything out and saying, and don't know how this is going. Because for me, for a new experience like a hike, I don't know how it's going to go. I am excited. Sometimes I don't even know where I'm going to eat. I just leave home. I just leave home. I need to get there by this time. I might leave a little earlier if I need to stop somewhere to get something to eat. And that is all I know about the experience. You just leave yourself open to experience whatever it is. It doesn't have any predetermination, it doesn't have anything. And you see, in doing so, you're keeping your mind clear, and you just go, you have the experience, and then you realize, okay, you end up having a good time. One thing that I didn't get to do, I didn't get to go on a 5K, but 2026, I would be doing some 5Ks for sure, for sure, for sure. And guys, that is what, when you get up, just keep yourself free. Keep yourself free and keep yourself unburdened. Even when the thoughts try to come back, just keep yourself free. And sometimes, yes, you want to get certain things completed. But even in wanting to get certain things completed, how do you approach it? Do you remove certain habits and then create ones to suit whatever that is? Or how do you approach something new when you have to build something? I know we talk about, sometimes you have the predetermined things in your mind, but in terms of building the habit, what micro habits do you find are more effective than, the major lifestyle overhauls? Because I am telling you, it is not really about the major lifestyle overhauls. And then looking at things from that perspective, this make you get overwhelmed, and this make you give up altogether before you even try for the first time. Because when you look at things, you have to break it down. It's not about the whole mountain. You really have to sometimes break things down into bite-sized pieces, because you would also recognize that what you think it should be, sometimes it is not what it is. Sometimes in terms of cleaning, when you think, okay, I'm going to finish cleaning this by today, and it doesn't happen like that. Or even when you're approaching some work that you always wanted to get done or you want to have done, and then when you start, you recognize, this thing taking a lot longer than I thought it would. And that is what happens sometimes, and that is also okay. But even in instances like that, do you adopt new habits to get through it, or do you throw your hands up in the air altogether and say, you see this? I ain't not dealing with this right now today, nah. Let me just leave this whole thing alone, and I don't know why I even bother with this. How do you approach it?
Adana,
Yes.
I was thinking that first of all, you had to kind of know what you have to do. You might have a long list, but you have to kind of prioritize your business,
Mm-hmm.
right? What is more important than what?
Mm-hmm.
Although those things could change, things is happening between, and you might have to change priorities and all that. But when you set up your priorities, you to me the fundamental thing is to start to look at what you already have, your resources and things, the
Mm-hmm.
things you know, the information you have, things that you would have done in the past and all of that, and how that work out,
Mm-hmm.
and build on the things that you already have, right? Build on those things, and the nuances of the new things will come in. You might see somebody doing something, and you will figure out, oh shucks, yeah, oh, I could adjust by
Mm-hmm.
doing so and so, that kind of thing. Look at your environment, and the environment help you to go forward. And the last thing I want to say is that one of the things that you shouldn't do is be hard on yourself. Don't be kind of long time. If I doing something and I ain't getting through, I worried and no, don't be hard on yourself. Everything will work out. And it has always worked out.
It always does.
It's always worked out. So don't be hard on yourself.
Mm-hmm. And even as Patricia said that today we had a post, and let me just share the post with you for those who probably missed it. So the post spoke about how to stay disciplined when work is overwhelming. And it starts with just as Patricia was elaborating, list your task. So get everything out of your head and onto paper or a digital list because clarity reduces stress. So after you have your task list, then you prioritize by importance, identifying what truly matters, not just the ones that feel urgent. So you have your list, you prioritize it by importance. And this is where we spoke about you're looking at the mountain and you want to get the whole mountain completed. And sometimes you have to block time and focus, which is the third category. So within this, you set dedicated time blocks, you silence distractions, close all your extra tabs, and commit to deep focus. So with this, if say you want to clean out a certain area in your house, it is better if you say I am dedicating an hour to this every day instead of trying to do the whole thing in one day because sometimes you get overwhelmed and you just throw your hands up and put everything down all together. So remember, if you're looking at a task that seems monumental, it seems huge, it seems overwhelming, block time and focus. The fourth category is check off when done. In doing so, you would be able to track your progress. Every check mark builds momentum and it reinforces discipline because we all know there is a sense of relief when you have a list and you're able to cross things off. And then, of course, in between all of this, remember to schedule mindful breaks. And in doing so, you would be able to reset your mind with short, intentional breaks because a steady mind supports steady discipline. So that was sent out today, and you see that is a little 5-step discipline routine that you could also adopt in terms of building new habits because sometimes things tend to get very, very, very overwhelming. And in instances like that, list out your task, break it down, do your time slots, and work on it just for a specific period of time. You don't have to do it whole day and then overwhelm yourself, and then you don't even bother to do it for the next 6 months. Because that is what we do. We overwhelm ourselves unnecessarily all the time. When you look at it, we overwhelm ourselves unnecessarily all the time, and it is not necessary. And the next thing that we tend to do is we make ourselves feel guilty. It is not necessary. Even at whatever your age is, every day is a new experience and it is a new learning experience. So even if you probably were not at 100% today, it is okay. you definitely have the opportunity to try again tomorrow, you know? And that is how you could build micro habits and have it work more effectively for you. You don't have to look at the big mountain, break it down. Even if you want to start to exercise, start with something small. Start with in your room. I know for me, for the persons who go and exercise by themselves, kudos to you. I cannot do that. I cannot maintain that. No. I need to be part of a group. I don't need to be in a gym, but I just need to be part of a group to exercise. I have an aunt, she would get up and she would exercise by her lonesome. No, I don't know. I no, that is certainly not for me. I do not think that I could manage that. If I know I am going and I'm working with a group, and yes, I could manage that. To get up and do it on my own, not so much. And what are some ways to stay consistent even on stressful or low energy days? I could give you all a little hint. For me, I tell myself this is not going to be forever. Sometimes it is just for today. Sometimes you just need to relax a little bit and unwind. Sometimes your energy is low. Yes. And you may be at 10%, but on that day, that 10% is your 100% as it relates to energy. Because you are at 10% today does not mean that you would be at 10% tomorrow. So sometimes what you really have to do is stay in the moment. You are at 10%, you are at 10%, and it is okay. Do your best at 10%. And after you do your best at 10%, you release it because tomorrow is another day. The next moment is the next moment. You don't have to carry the 10% into the rest of 2025. That is where the issue comes from. You might be feeling down today and then you carry that into everything, everywhere, and with everybody that you meet. And remember, that's just a moment in time. You may not even be feeling like that in the next hour. And then your body might be forcing, well, not forcing, the body might be showing that feeling for you to slow down a little bit and recalibrate. Because your body knows if you continue to push by the end of the week, you will be sick and you might be down for 2 weeks. So sometimes within that, just slow down. Slow down, it is okay. Sometimes you need to just lie down. Just lie down on your bed without any distractions. You're not scrolling on your phone, you're not doing anything. And just slow. And then sometimes in slowing down, I tell you the solutions that you're asking for comes when you slow down. The solutions that you are asking for, they flow when you slow down. When you look at your environment as well, are there certain cues in your environment to let you know you should be doing this at this point in time? I know for me, it usually is. I come from a family where I am surrounded by little children, and they always come with the they always come with the little bits of accountability when you're thinking that you're talking to yourself, but really when you say things out loud, they always hear and they're always coming back to tell you, but you said that you were going to. And life would always send the cues. You might be scrolling on your phone, you see an advertisement pop up, or you're looking at TV, or even as I said before, in conversations. And that is also life trying to usher you into a particular direction. But even within that, what we tend to do is put on our shades and hide. And then again, the opportunity, guys, remember, each opportunity missed increases the time and space between you and what you would like to experience. With every opportunity that you miss, it is increasing the time. And then you really have to ask yourself, what habits am I creating for myself? Am I creating habits of procrastination on top of procrastination on top of procrastination? Or am I really building these small steps into what I would like to experience at this point in time? You really, really have to ask yourself that. And again, what is most important as well is the mindset shift needed to maintain the habits, and is to maintain the habits for months, not just days. Because usually we all start off very eager and happy and hot and sweaty and excited, and then after a week or so, everything falls back down. But in this moment, this is where it is important that you really hold on to what is your intention, what is your goal. Because every time you release it, your goal is to stay exactly where you are. So even if you hold the intention for a week, then your goal is to stay exactly where you are. You really have to hold the intention. And I know that we expect a lot of things to be easy and we expect the road to be smooth, but that is not what life is about. And the discomfort that you feel is preparing you for where you want to go, the experiences that you would like to enjoy. But if every time you feel any discomfort, you throw your hands up in the air and you say, you see this, then you would just remain stuck. And guys, we all know in remaining stuck for too long, especially from the psychological perspective, what comes with it. A lot of different things comes with that. And you know that the thoughts come in to usher you into a particular direction. Within your environment as well, things appearing to usher you into a particular direction. Make the next step. Make the next step. Remember, we will not be having the same conversation in 3 weeks. We will not be having the same conversation. And you really have to ask yourself, seeing that this is your life and life belongs to you, what do you want? Do you really want to stay in your current position for the next 6 months? Imagine still being wherever you are, uncomfortable in June of 2026. Is that really what you want for yourself when you really sit down and you think about it? Do you want to be in the same spot in June of 2026? And if you really don't want to, all it takes is making the next step. All it really takes is making the next step. And even, I know we discussed this previously, if something, you have a routine, you have a schedule, if it is not working for you, just sit with it a while, revisit it, and restructure it. Whatever it is. You would know if something working based on the results. If you are getting results that you do not want, sit with it a bit and restructure it instead of frustrating yourself and throwing your hands up in the air and leaving it alone for another 6 months. Just sit with it a little bit. Or even if you release it for a day or 2 days, go back again and sit with it. And then you would realize, something might come up and you have a different understanding of it, and then proceed forward. Frustrating yourself about a situation, a person, or a thing is not going to carry you forward at all.
Could I say something?
Mm-hmm.
Not you, man. Sorry. In terms of when you said if it's something you don't want, but sometimes s- some of the things we don't want is some of the things that we need. So it's really being honest with yourself is not necessary. It all depends on what you don't want means. You know what I mean? If it's something that is beneficial and you just saying, you know what? I ain't going to do this now. I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that. But this is what keeps coming back every time. Then it's different from, you're doing something and for the want of a word is kind of like in the negative space. You know what I mean? So doing something you don't want, sometimes we have to do what we don't want, because if we don't do what we because we think we don't want to do it, then we'll be stagnated. It's sometimes pushing through and sitting in that uncomfortableness
Mm-hmm.
to be able to come out on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just what.
Mm-hmm. But when I said that, I meant it in the instance where sometimes you're doing something and you're feeling as though you're fighting up with it. You see, whenever you're feeling as though you're fighting up with something, put it down. Go do something else and then come back to it. It doesn't mean that you leave it for a long period of time, but it means just put it down for a little while and then come back to it. Because sometimes after you come back to it, you have a new perspective, you look at things a lot clearer, your mind is a bit clearer, and then you approach it again in another moment, just not in this current moment. And then you would find that things start to flow a lot differently in the next moment, whenever you feel like you might be fighting up with something in particular. Or even you might try to get onto a particular company and you're calling. And as soon as you calm down, you would call and you would get through immediately. Sometimes you just have to put it down, assess yourself, align yourself, and then approach it again. Yes, Catherine, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
Yes, based on what you were saying, is for me when if I have a proposal to do
Mm-hmm.
and it's not really coming, that first sentence is not really coming at all. What I find myself doing now is whatever comes, I write it down. It may not be in the order. And when something else comes, I write that down as well. So by the time I'm ready to actually sit down with it, when I'm able to sit now with it, you find that it's really just a question of all the pieces that are there now, just arrange
Put
them
together.
where it's supposed to be, as opposed to sitting for hours just trying to get it, trying to get it, trying to get it. I just put it now, and I had a project to do for Friday. We had a workshop for Friday. And in my, I saw a different vision for how to deliver that particular workshop. I'd been delivering the workshop for a number of years, and I'm always on the lookout for what can change. Although it's not the same set of people who would be experiencing the workshop, it's the same company. And I and sometimes it's not even the same person's in charge of organizing it, but you still want to bring something fresh to the table so that they could enjoy the experience. And for this year, it just came that I wanted to do it a particular way. And I don't know where the time went. The time just went. Time just went. And there were a number of moving parts to get in place. And I made a list of all the parts, the new parts, the moving parts that had to be there for the experience to be what I was seeing in my mind's eye. And midnight came, 1 o'clock came, 2 o'clock in the morning of the workshop, and I am still missing pieces. And then when it was around 3 o'clock, I said, you know what, Catherine, finish strong. Just finish strong. Do not think anymore about getting some sleep, just get the pieces in order. And I remember just calling out to the universe. I say, everybody, come, 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 come. We have to get this thing. I didn't know how to do the center pieces. It was in the middle of the centerpiece. I bought some little Christmas trees and I was trying to put them together that I realized the trees actually could light. So I was like, wow. We have trees that will light up on the table. So when you have something, for me now, when I have something to do and it's not coming together, I just work on what is coming together. Get this piece here, get that piece there, and then I just know it will come together.
Mm-hmm.
So it is that kind of thinking now that I'm working on applying all the time. My thing now is practice. Apply, practice, apply, practice, apply.
Yeah.
You learn, practice, apply. So, and for me, you can't be telling people, you must practice, and then you're not practicing yourself. So, those are the things. Not easy. It has not been an easy switch,
Mm-hmm.
but I am seeing little results.
Mm-hmm.
And with the little results, I am using that to build. I think it was Patricia that was saying you always get through.
Yes.
And so I'm working on that. And we have 2 more weeks before the end of the year. So, yes.
And you see, once you start to practice, to me, once you start to practice one thing, practicing other things becomes easier because you recognize if I can get through this, I could overcome whatever else comes. But you just need to start. Once you start one thing, and let me tell you what is a major block for a lot of us in terms of when it comes to practice and not making whatever the next step is. We are holding on to something previously held and we're not willing to let go of it. That is the only reason why. Because when you look at children, when they have a new experience, what they do, they just go, whatever the new experience is, they eager, they excited, and they just go. But when it comes to us and with a new experience, we have to calculate and then we have to measure. And I don't know how this would be. And as you are only measuring and comparing and calculating because you have something previously held in your mind. Because if you didn't have anything held in your mind, you would just go for the experience. You're just going for the fun of it, whatever the experience turns out to be. But when you have something previously held, it really puts you in a limited kind of rehabilitation state because you cannot fully experience anything else because you're holding on to whatever this one thing is that you probably made up your mind about, probably because of some experience that happened 5 years ago that's not even relevant today. So once you have things that are previously held and you're holding on to, it really puts you in a limiting space and you are not able to fully experience whatever the new thing is. Because even when I look at different things, if I want to say buy something new and experience it, whatever the cost is the cost. I want to experience this. Even if I buy it and it don't taste good, I wanted to experience it. So it's not about the cost, it's about the experience. I always want to go on hikes. I went on certain hikes, I will never go back. But it is not about whatever happened, is really about the experience of it. Okay, you get the experience. Okay, I am moving on now. I want to taste something new. I love food. So whatever the cost is the cost when it comes to food. I don't measure cost at all. At all. Whatever the cost is, if that is the cost of it, I want to taste that, I am tasting it. Even if it doesn't taste good, I don't even guilt myself after. Nope, I wanted to taste that and I taste it. And that is what it is. And you just keep it moving. So now you know, okay, that was a okay experience. Okay, that experience wasn't the best. I probably don't want to experience that again. Let me focus on new things that I want to experience. You don't have to hold anything moving forward. An experience is just an experience, and at the end of the day, you are not the experience. The experience just is. So accept the experiences for what they are and just continue moving. Leave yourself open to experience new, and don't limit yourself by holding on to things that have gone. The things that have gone, they serve their purpose. You learn from the lesson and just continue moving along, continue moving forward. Don't let one isolated experience prevent you from experiencing what you really want to enjoy in life. Don't let one isolated experience do that, or even one person, or one place, or one thing. Because that one person, place, thing, or experience doesn't define your experiences moving forward. Once you remain open, you never know how that is going to turn out. You never know. Even when we went on the bike ride, I think that was the best, even though it wasn't really a hike, but it was the best outdoor experience because it was very reminiscent of childhood and when you were just free and you didn't have bills. And it was just, it was really, really nice. And it was just free. You're just riding. You're not even thinking about yesterday or tomorrow because in riding, you're just in the present moment, enjoying it fully. And you see, that is how you're really supposed to be approaching everything moving forward. You're not holding on to anything that has happened, and approach everything free and then see how that works and practice it. When you get up tomorrow, even it could be work, and it have this one thing that happens every day on work, clear your mind and approach it free and then see what happens. Because once you're holding things, remember you're blocking out space for other things that could have been there, that the other thoughts that could have flowed to you to help you with whatever you need assistance with. But once you're holding to something, there is space for nothing else. So, guys, I hope that moving forward, you all would be able to look at building habits that could really maintain whatever it is you would like to enjoy. And you know the habits that you have that not working for you and you're still holding to it. You know what they are. You don't even have to say it, but in yourself, you know what they are. You're still holding to it, and you. And especially again, if you want to experience something new, you have to release it and replace it with something else. Release it and replace it with something else. So, before I let you know what the schedule is for this week, do we have any questions? And remember, whatever you're experiencing, it will not last forever and ever.
I have a question, sorry.
Yes.
The Genius School question for
Mm-hmm.
last week. Did you talk about that?
The Genius Goals question for last week.
Yeah, it wasn't updated.
It wasn't updated. So what we will do, we will leave it for this week so that you all will have the opportunity to answer it. So you have an additional week to answer. Yeah?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And guys, even if you do not participate in the Genius Goals question throughout the week, you could even feel free to answer it. Just ask yourself the question. So the question for last week was, what if doubt isn't stopping you but showing you where you're meant to grow? That's question one. Then question two, when was the last time doubt pointed you towards something meaningful? Question three, what story does doubt tell you and what story could it be inviting you to rewrite? And then question four, how would your choices shift if you trusted that your doubt held direction? So sometimes you just need to read it, think about it, even though you may not be part of the challenge, you could still think about it. So let me let you all know what is on the schedule for this week. And remember that Mondays are really the start of what is coming in the upcoming week. So today we discussed building habits you can maintain, and tomorrow we have our B Squad Youth program from 10 in schools across Trinidad. And then from 6, we would be discussing a year that matches your true priorities, where we would be looking at creating a genuine pathway for the year ahead. And then, of course, from 7 p.m., we have our Be Fit Fuel and Flexible Body Workout sessions. Then on Wednesday, we have counseling and consultations from 10. And then from 6, we would be discussing mental and emotional renewal. I know at the end of the year, a lot of us would be very interested in this. So we would be looking at releasing outdated beliefs, clutter, and mental fatigue. Let me reread that again. We would be looking at releasing outdated beliefs, clutter, and mental fatigue. On Thursday from 10, we have counseling and consultations again, as the B Squad program would be coming to an end because of the closure of school for this term. And then from 6, we would be looking at financial fortitude and lifestyle design. So here we would be discussing abundance and eliminating unnecessary drains. Then from 7, we have our Be Fit Fuel and Flexible Body Workout. And on Friday, we have counseling and consultations from 10. And from 3, we have Free to Be, where we celebrate, relax, restore, and unwind. On Saturday, the 13th of December, we have our B Squad Super Saturdays, where the kids would be going on a field trip to Pizza Boys Maraval. And for the adults, we have our Bethany Beach Rest, Relax, and Restore, where we would be doing a pop-up at the beach. So this is for those, of course, who are in Trinidad, but do not worry, we will soon be in a country near you. So we would be meeting at the Bethany Beach just to relax a bit as the year comes to a close. We would be meeting from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you are interested, you could WhatsApp REST to 336-1809 for register. And for those who would like their kids to be part of the B Squad Super Saturdays, you could WhatsApp either 336-1809 or 7749306 to register. And the kids would be creating their own pizza at Pizza Boys. Um, Pizza Boys has a school tour happening right now, so the kids would be benefiting from it. And they would be there from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And coming up in January, we would be having our sip and talk again. So another year, another win. Let's get it on Saturday, the 10th of January, 2026, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Balance Center, Shogunas. The cost, of course, is free. Bring your drinks and come, let's discuss making your 2026 goals a reality. If you are interested, you could WhatsApp Sip and Talk to 336-1809 to register. And one more thing before we close off, remember that you can take control of 2026 starting in December. December isn't the end, it's the launch pad. Take control of 2026 in December by aligning your habits with your goals. Every small action this month becomes next year's advantage. Start early, stay ready. Your next chapter starts before the new year does. So, guys,
Question. The
yes,
sip and talk is not virtual.
yes. We would also ensure that there is a virtual aspect. So, persons who are not physically here, they would be able to log in and join. Just as we did with the, oh my gosh, Dowdy.
Howdy.
Yes, we did that with the Dowdy. So, yes, that would certainly be an option as well. So ensure that you have your drinks cooled from wherever you are in the world, and you can feel free to log in when it comes closer. We would let you all know what the link is so that you could log in to be part of the experience. All right. So guys, have a wonderful, mindful night and week. When the opportunity presents itself to practice something new, ensure that you practice it. The opportunities are always presenting themselves to practice something new, you are ignoring it. In mindfulness and slowing down, you will be able to identify it and put it into practice. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful week, and see you all back on Monday, same place, same time. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night. Have a great week.
Good
Good night.
night.
Good
Good
night.
night.